Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's Kay Kaltoff, and we are live this morning. We're going to explore the waves of inspiration. I almost said waves of information. No, we don't want that clouding our day. We want waves of inspiration. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Yeah, we're going to make 2 cards today because it's 2 for Tuesday and they're not too hard. It's just kind of getting to know your measurements and then putting it all down. So just a great fun little free class for you guys to enjoy. Before I put the camera down, I do want to remind you, in fact, the first thing you're going to see when I do put the camera down is the card kit to go. And that's what I want to remind you about. Any Stampin' Up! Order that uses the special host code that I'm about to share with you, and you run it through my online store, you will get 8 card setups that feature the Flowering Tulips bundle. And so, of course, you don't necessarily have to have the bundle in order to come up with your own creative ideas for working with these card setups. However, if you have the bundle, you'll be able to put the cards together very much like I have. But if that's not important to you and you have a lot of tulip stamp sets already in your crafting area, no problem. You'll be able to just take these and run with it. In fact, I had a couple of customers that recently reached out to me with the card kit that I did last month, and they shared all of their alternative ideas that they did, and it was so much fun to see. So let me put the camera down and I'll show you. Let's see, I'll show you what the host code is. So just make a note of this. If you're one of my customers, or if you'd like to try out being my customer, you can get the Flowering Tulips card kit to go with anything that you put on your order, as long as it's at least 50, and it uses the host code EBQTVDYV. And that offer is ending a week from today. So you have 1 week to go ahead and do that. So super fun. All right, now let's look at the cards we're going to make today using the Waves of Inspiration bundle. This is what it looks like. I've got 2 cards here. Welcome, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to see you. It's fun to see all of your comments and that you're sharing already. I really appreciate it. Let me hold this first card up that we're going to make. It's this one right here. It's probably the easier of the 2 cards to make, honestly. But maybe not. I mean, there's some super skinny lines here, and it was kind of a trick to get that so that everything was evenly spaced, but I'll show and share to the best of my ability how to do that. And then I just discovered that the perfect suns are in a die set called Tasteful Labels, and you've got 2 sizes in there to use for your sun. So I picked the smaller of the sizes, and it's right here, and I just love how that looks on this card. And then the second card that we're going to make is this one, and it has the mother of pearl paper on it. So I know this doesn't come across as awesome as it looks in real life, because the mother of pearl paper is one of those that has sort of deeply inset shimmers to it. So it's really elegant. So that is what we're going to use on this card. And don't you love that kind of like where you keep the papers lined up, but then you cut them and you have this really awesome sort of continuation of the pattern behind the wave? Oh my gosh, I love that. That was kind of an accident. I didn't really realize I was doing that until after I'd done it. And then, so I'll show you what I got today with the stripes that we have today. Okay, so let us get rolling here. The first thing, of course, is to take a look at some of these products. This is the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper, and a lot of these papers are interchangeable. They are so pretty. So you see we have a lot of gorgeous oceany type waves. And then on the back side, let me flip it over so you can see the back side. We have some more in different colors. And then you'll notice there's a lot of calypso coral and some yellows in here, and that sort of is like reminiscent of sunset. So I've seen some really pretty sunset cards with the ocean theme as well on Instagram and places like that. And then you have some more softer pool party colors, and then even some granny apple green, which I really like that in this whole color combo. So we'll get that set aside. Then, of course, here's that mother of pearl paper that I was talking about. Oh, can you see it? I think it's showing up pretty good on the camera today. And you can see all the pretty shimmer in there. Yeah, I really like that paper. That's all of, so the waves of the wave, I keep wanting to call it waves of information. My gosh, Kay, it's waves of inspiration. So this is something that's not in our catalog. So for example, the mother of pearl paper, you can find that in our January through June mini catalog. But the ocean waves that I just showed you and this bundle, and then there's some coordinating foil and some coordinating rhinestones. They're actually not in a catalog. So you have to go to my online store, and I have the link in the See More description, and just run to that online store. And I think I actually put the supply list up where it has, I think it's the Waves of the Ocean product suite. So if you click on that link, you'll be able to see everything in this set and then pick and choose what you want or get the whole set. That's what I say, get the whole set. That's what I did. All right, so I'm going to set this aside now, and we'll go ahead and we'll get started making this card right here. So, so pretty. So, of course, the first thing that you're going to need is, oh my gosh, and I don't have it. I'm just going to tell it to you. I don't have my little label on here. I hope I labeled the rest of it. This is 4 1/4 by 11 inches folded in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. So you just cut your paper longwise, fold it in half, and you've got what they call a landscape style card. And then when you open it up, oh, good, I do have labels. This is a 3/4 inch by 4 1/4 inch strip of paper. And then we're leaving the rest to be customized at the time that the card is sent. And so we're just going to leave it blank for the moment. So that's the front panel, or that's the whole card base. Then we have a front panel that we're going to work with. And this is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And this is in Granny Apple Green. Remember, I was telling you how much I think that is super fun. Having that Granny Apple Green in there really makes a striking contrast. And then there are some little bits of Granny Apple Green in the paper. Then you're going to need 2 strips, 1 by 4 inches. And honestly, you can kind of use whatever you want in this Waves of the Ocean paper because they're all so pretty and they're all really interchangeable. But because I had the Granny Apple Green panel here, I was actually inspired to have a Granny Apple Green panel because can you see the little bits of Granny Apple Green in this? It's so fun. I love it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take some multi-purpose liquid glue and we're going to glue these strips down. Let me grab them here, add some glue to the back. And then the middle strip is going to be 3 by 4 inches. So I'm just going to set that in temporarily. I'm not actually gluing that one down. I just want to get these strips in. So that little one just kind of helps me know kind of where to put things because this is going to be very, very narrow. So we want to make sure we have room for everything to be evenly spaced. So now I can see I need to move this one over just a tinch. And this one, this one wiggled while I was moving the other one. So you can see, very, very narrow. But if I am going to err, I want it to be bigger right here. So, I mean, ideally try for evenness, but if not, have it bigger in the middle. So as I mentioned, this is going to go in the middle and it is a 3 by 4 inch panel. So now we're going to go ahead and glue that one down. So I'm just adding glue all the way around and then we're going to set that in. And we're going to make that as even as we can. And then we're just going to check this panel over before we actually set it down on our card base to make sure I have these fairly. So my strips sometimes get a little long just because that happens when you're cutting things. So I am going to flip it over to the back and I know this is really getting fussy, but I can't help myself. So there are just these little twinges that I want to take off. Can you see them? 1, 2, 3 little tiny, tiny pieces. Yeah, I know. I know, kind of silly. All right, so we are good to put this down onto the front panel of our card because we're just going to set it in like this. So I'm going to do that again with multi-purpose liquid glue. We're not actually doing any kind of a ribbon wrap or anything like that, so we're safe to put it down. So we'll get this in, set that in just nice and centered. So beautiful. This paper is just beautiful. Then let's see what else we need to do. So we need a scrap of some of the yellow background. So that's what one side looks like. Here's the yellow. And as you can see, I already worked with this, so I wouldn't have to do this on camera. But I cut out, let's see, where is it? So I was mentioning these make great suns. So I took the little one and just cut it out. So that's my little sun piece that's going to go right there. I've got that ready to go. And then we need another scrap. Well, then you want to stamp happy birthday here and then cut that out with, I'm going to get the die, with this narrower die right here. That's part of the Ocean Waves dies. And so I did that in advance, and I even started doing the little tie-on. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. That's kind of fussy, so I wanted to get one done in advance. So we can set that aside. Then you want to have another piece of scrap, and I should tell you that the color I'm using for all of this stamping is soft suede. So we have another piece of scrap, and you're going to take your soft suede ink, stamp the pelican who's sitting on a post, and then die cut it, and you have something that looks like this. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the pelican, we're going to brighten him up with a bit of orange on his beak. So to do that, you know, go ahead and use any orange thing you have. But I'm going to go ahead and use my pumpkin pie marker. And I'm using the fine tip. And then I can just like that, put a bit of orange on him. So he looks, it adds a little bit of brightness to him. And then I think it's time to assemble. So I want to do a little wrap. I don't know, you might have not even noticed this, but I used the Baker's Twine Essentials. That comes in a pack that looks like this. So it's got gray granite, crumb cake, white, vanilla, and black. And I'm going to use the crumb cake. So what I want to do is I'm just going to take a little Scotch tape and I'm going to start on the back here. Just put that down with, oh, you need just the really tiniest piece. What I had down was too big. So put that on. Oh my gosh. Maybe should have done this in advance. It's so picky. There we go. So you have that on, and then you can just wrap it around a couple of times. I mean, you don't need to go too crazy, but I just kind of follow where the lines already are. So then you have something that looks like that. Doesn't that look cool? It adds a lot of nice interest. So then on the back, take another piece of Scotch tape and hold that all down. That one can be bigger because we can bring it down the pier or whatever, the post. All right, so that's going to go on the front of our card. And then I mentioned that we're going to do a little fun little tie-on. And it was actually my downline member, Kim Lundstrom, that told me about this. She told me just tie it on like a tag and then fasten it behind. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try doing this here. I mean, I've done it because I did it here and I did it here. So what you do is you do like a loop like this, and you put the loop through. And I never know if I should be going from the bottom or the top, but I honestly don't think it really matters. And then you open, once you have the loop through, then open the loop and bring these two threads through I'll bring it up so you can see. And then it sort of, you know, does it like a tag tie on, see? And then push that all to the back so that you have something that looks like that. And then on the back side, trim this edge, and then again, take a little Scotch tape and fasten that down so that it holds. And then you have something that looks kind of cool. It's sort of like matches, you know, the rope that's around the post on the penguin. And it's sort of, I don't know, I just like it. Do you guys like it? It's cool, isn't it? All right, so now all we have to do is kind of put everything on, and we're going to do it all with dimensionals. So we can flip this all over, grab our dimensionals. Oh, that's kind of tight. Hold on, hold your horses here. I gotta cut this one in half. Let me grab. I could have used mini dimensionals, but I didn't. I would probably recommend that you do that. And one more, I think. Take the peelies off, and we'll put the pelican down. So we want him to go flush. This bottom post needs to go flush with the bottom of our card. And there it is. And then we're going to add the sun and the sentiment. So, oh, we'll just go all crazy and add 3. It's just big enough that you can add 3 dimensionals to the sun. So we'll do it. We're going to set this up here, of course. And then we have our sentiment. So this is a really pretty easy card to do. So let me add the dimensionals for the sentiment, and then we'll get this all onto our card, and then this card will be complete. So let me do that. Maybe go a little bit higher. There we go. And it's done. Isn't it pretty? Oh my gosh, I love it. I hope you love it too. So these are this is the first card. So we're going to do another one. Yes, we're going to do 2 for Tuesday today. So that's the first one. Let's look at the second one. And again, it's not too hard. It's just knowing where to cut and how to put it all together. So here we go. This is the second card. So let's get everything rolling for this one. So the first thing we do is we need a portrait style card. So that is 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. And then the inside panel is a piece of basic white, 4 by 5 1/4. And then on the left-hand side, I just put a strip of coordinating designer series paper from the Waves of the Ocean. It's a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and just set this into the inside panel of our card. Just like this. And now let's figure out how to do these cute cuts here. So I will take a panel. Well, actually, I didn't even take a panel. I just cut a panel of paper, 5 1/4. And then as I was cutting it with my paper trimmer, I cut it at 7/8 inch. So I started with a panel that was 5 1/4, and then I made 7/8 inch cuts to end up with four panels. And I want to keep them in order. So we have something that sort of looks, you know, how this one looks, where you've got your pattern that continues across the paper. We're going to attempt the same thing with this. Okay, so then we can go ahead and we can put these down. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue them in. So you want to do the right and left sides first, and then you'll do your center panels because that's just easier. So we're going to set this one here. And then we're going to take our right side panel. And set that one down to the outside of the card. And then we'll set this one here and this one here. And I can tell that one's crooked. So I've got to quickly straighten that out before it's too late. But now everything looks good. So now I can add my center two panels, which I will do. There we go. And one more. And then the front of our card, we've got our beautiful backdrop, and then we can go ahead and put the rest of it together. So here it is. So, so pretty. Oh my gosh, just look at that, you guys. Isn't that just the most gorgeous paper you've ever seen in your life? Oh, I just love it. Okay, so then we were using, as I mentioned, I'll grab it here. Okay, so then we need a scrap of the mother of pearl paper. And then you're going to run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with the bigger panel right here for a backdrop to the sentiment, because we're going to actually put the sentiment on this side, and then we're going to layer the two. So let me go ahead and show you that I have that panel prepared. It looks like this. I think so you can see it. We'll put this out on a sheet that looks like that. And then you need just a scrap of the Waves of the Ocean paper. And then you are going to stamp Happy Birthday in Pacific Point. So I did that in advance, and it looks like this. And then what I want to do is I want to layer this on, so I can just go ahead and glue this down. We're going to layer that right across this panel, like so. So just get that all centered in so it's just nice and centered. And then we're going to set that aside for a minute. And let me show you how we did the actual ocean wave. So again, you want a scrap of the mother of pearl paper. And then on the back side of that scrap, you're going to put adhesive sheets on the back side, because these are kind of skinny. I made some for my downline for a swap that I was in, and I gave it to my assistant to finish putting together. And the poor lady, she had to glue it all in because I hadn't put it on with adhesive sheets. So that wasn't really so much fun for her. So now I learned my lesson, and I did adhesive sheets on this one. So let me go ahead and pull this all away. And there's adhesive sheets, so it'll go down really, really a lot easier. So I did prepare that in advance. Hold on here. So I'm getting all of the little pokey pieces out. I think I have one more. Here we go. And then I know you can't see it, but trust me, there's adhesive sheets on the back. And that needs to be layered over the top of this 2 7/8 inch square panel of designer series paper. And you want to pick one that's lighter in color, because we're actually going to stamp over the top of it with Pacific Point. So again, that's 2 7/8 inch square. I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper here. And then I've got my really large ocean wave. And this is block, I don't know, what is this block? I don't use it that often, but when you need it, you need it. It's block F. It's the biggest one that Stampin' Up makes. So now I've got my Pacific Point ink. And we really only need to ink up this section here, because we aren't going to be using that section, just the wave part. So I've got that all inked up with Pacific Point. I'm going to flip this around and set this so that the bottom overhangs the edge. Oh, shoot, it doesn't overhang the edge. I wanted to avoid that on the bottom there, but oh well, maybe this will cover it. And it does. Oh, good, we saved it. Oh my goodness. All right, so now what we can do is we'll pull off all these little pieces. So I want to show you on this first wave that I did. I had it flush with the bottom. I put the wave a little further down, so there was a bigger gap up here, but then I had to cut off kind of this bottom section. But today I'll keep it because it's going to hide the fact that I didn't put that wave quite low enough. All right, so now what I want to do is avoid getting ink on my project. I feel like I got inky hands, but now what you want to do is you want to take off all that layer of adhesive. So doing this on camera is always interesting because I'm not really so good at seeing it. I don't really know where it starts and ends. So what else can we talk about while Kay fiddles around doing this? Oh, you guys are liking the cards. You said it. Who is it that said that? Nisi said it's beautiful paper, really showcases the colors for sure. Oh my goodness. We have people watching from North Dakota, Florida, all over the place. Minnesota. I always have my most watchers in Minnesota, but that's because I'm from here. So sometimes I feel like, you know, probably my downline are tuning in to check out what I'm up to. And I have a lot of downline in Minnesota, but I have lots of downline all over the place. Oh my gosh, you guys. So this is not as easy. You know what? We maybe should make a suggestion to Stampin' Up to have their adhesive sheets backed with, say, baby blue, because then the backing would be visible when you're doing something white on white, because literally cannot see this. Wouldn't that be a good idea? Maybe I should put that in. We have a little suggestion box on Stampin' Up. That would be such a good idea. Candy's watching. She's one of my downlines. She's from South Dakota. Welcome, Candy. Okay, did I get it all? I can't even tell. I think I got, I don't know. Wait, here's the spot. Boy, you know what? As soon as this video's over, I'm going to run to the sandbox. They call it the sandbox at Stampin' Up. And I'm going to suggest that instead of it being white backing on the adhesive sheets, they should make that like a baby blue backing or something so we can see where they are, because you cannot see it. All right, so we're going to set this in flush with the bottom. And it kind of just goes right where the wave is, which is super pretty. We'll press that in. I got this little spots picking up. I wonder if there's adhesive there. And yep, there is adhesive, and I missed taking it off. All right, now it should press, and it does. Okay, I'm going to flip it over, press from the back. Then take your scissors, and you're just going to trim evenly so that all these little pieces are trimmed even to the edge. And we have something that looks like that. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. So then you're going to layer this on top of another piece of, what do they call that? Mother of pearl, 12 by 12 paper. You're going to cut it down to 3 1/8 inches square. So then we can take our multi-purpose liquid glue, and we'll just put this straight on over the top, wiggle it into place so that all the sides are even. And that looks great. There we go. Let me hold that up. Isn't that gorgeous? I can't stop looking at it. It is so, so gorgeous. Okay. Okay, then we want to decorate these little ends so they look really pretty. So to do that, we are going to take some sheer pool party ribbon, and I'm just going to cut off, I don't know, maybe 3 inches and then another 3 inches. We just want it long enough so we can grab onto it. And I'm going to push it through these holes on either end. And then we're going to tie it off into these cute little tie-offs, and then we're going to trim them really, really close. And you may not have even noticed that when I first showed you the card, but it's super cute. It's a super cute little touch that's one of those things that you notice once the card's in your hands all put together and you just can't stop looking at it. All right, so here we go. So cute. So get those nice and tight, and then take your ribbon scissors and you're going to trim super, super close. There we go. Let me hold that up to the camera so you can see how cute that is. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, then it's time to put all of this good stuff onto the front of our card, which we can do with dimensionals. So I've got my dimensionals here. We can add 3 to this one. And then we'll add 5 to this one. And we'll take the peelies off. And this one is super easy to put on first, because that just gets centered so that the right, the left, and the top are, you know, close to even. I have to bring it closer because I can't see, or maybe I could stand up. There we go. And then the bottom one, the sentiment panel, is going to get put right here. Right like that. And the card is done. So, so pretty and gorgeous. All right, so let me share with you what this all looks like all together. Oh, they're all so pretty. I don't want to cover any of them up. There we go. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching me today. I'm really glad you stuck around.